Gemini, you'll cry April 27th to 29th. What's coming will shake your soul. Don't ignore this sign. Gemini, listen, because what you are about to feel. April 27th to April 29th may not be ordinary sadness. It may not be random emotion. It may not be weakness. It may be the sacred moment when God touches the hidden place inside your heart, the place you have been protecting, with laughter, movement, words, plans, and endless thinking. You are the sign that can speak when others go silent, smile when the room feels heavy, and explain pain before you fully allow yourself to feel it. But these days may bring a different stillness, a silence that follows you, a memory that returns without warning, a tear that comes before you understand when. And if that happens, Gemini, do not condemn yourself. Do not call yourself fragile. Something deeper may be happening. From April 27th to April 29th, your spirit may begin to hear what your mind has been trying to outrun. Maybe you have been tired in a way sleep cannot fix. Maybe you have been carrying conversations that were never resolved, hopes that were delayed, people who confused your peace, or fears about money direction, love, and the future. You may have told yourself, I am fine, but God sees the parts of you that never made it into words. He sees prayers you whispered because you were afraid to break down. He sees the nights when your mind ran in circles asking why you feel close to a breakthrough and yet so heavy. If you are still watching Gemini, maybe your soul recognized truth before your mind could explain it. What is coming may shake your soul, but it is not coming to destroy you. It is coming to wake you from an old emotional agreement, an old pattern, an old road where you kept giving energy to what could not bless you back. Sometimes God allows tears because the heart has become too full of what it was never meant to carry. Sometimes He lets one memory rise, one message appear, one silence. Feel louder because He is not trying to hurt you. He is trying to show you where you have been surviving instead of receiving. Gemini, you were not created only to survive. You were created to think with clarity, speak with wisdom, walk with favor, and receive blessing without losing your peace to gain wealth. So if your eyes fill with tears during these days, understand this. Those tears may be washing away the dust of an old season. They may be clearing confusion around your next step. They may be softening the place where fear has been louder than faith. There is a prosperity God can release when your heart is no longer chained to the wrong voice. There is a door of provision that opens when your spirit stops negotiating with what drains it. There is divine richness prepared for you, but you must be awake enough to recognize it, humble enough to receive it, and brave enough to leave behind what makes your soul feel poor. Do not ignore this sign, Gemini. Not because you should be afraid, but because your tears may be pointing to a sacred truth. The person you used to be, the version who overthought every wound, explained every disappointment, forgave without boundaries, and smiled while breaking inside, may be loosening its grip on you. That can feel like loss. It can feel like trembling. It can feel like something familiar is slipping away. But in the hands of God, release is not punishment. Sometimes release is protection. Sometimes the thing leaving your life is making room for the blessing you prayed for. And if this message is touching something in you, stay with me. Do not scroll away from the word your spirit may need. The next part will reveal why April 27th through April 29th may feel emotional, why your mind may return to old memories, and why what shakes you now could become the first sign of peace. Money, wisdom, and divine favor being restored in your life. Before we go deeper, place your attention on your heart and breathe. Let this be your first declaration of faith. If you believe God is not finished with your story, comment, "God is healing my heart and preparing my blessing." Let that comment stand as a marker that you are choosing faith over fear, clarity over confusion, and divine wealth over spiritual exhaustion. Like this video, if you are ready to let God turn your tears into testimony. Subscribe if you believe signs carry holy direction. Share this with another Gemini who has been strong too long. And remember, do not leave, because what makes you cry may be exactly what God uses to save your heart and lead you into a blessed future. Now, Gemini, what is happening inside you is not confusion without meaning. It is not just mood, not just tiredness, not another emotion that will pass and leave nothing behind. You are entering a sacred inner revealing, April 27th. Through April 29th may not bring one loud event that everyone can see, but it may bring something much more powerful, a quiet shaking of the soul. A message may arrive, a memory may return, a conversation may echo in your mind, a dream may feel too real to ignore, or maybe nothing dramatic happens outside, yet something inside you suddenly says, "I cannot keep living like this." That moment, Gemini, is not weakness. That may be God speaking through the silence. You are a sign of movement, thought, words, intelligence, and quick perception. You can read energy before people admit truth. You can feel when someone's tone changes, when a door is closing, when a promise is losing life, when a room looks normal, but something hidden is shifting underneath. But because your mind is so active, you sometimes explain your pain instead of feeling it. You turn heartbreak into analysis. You turn disappointment into jokes. You turn fear into planning. You turn loneliness into busyness. And slowly, without realizing it, you may begin to carry wounds with a smile. April 27th to April 29th. May expose the wound behind the smile, not to shame you, but to free you. So you may feel emotional over things you thought were already finished. Maybe you forgave someone, but your soul never felt safe again. Maybe you stayed loyal to a connection that kept making you question your worth. Maybe you tried to be understanding, patient, kind, and spiritually mature, but deep inside you were asking, "When will someone understand me?" Maybe you kept encouraging others while your own heart was starving for reassurance. Maybe you have been afraid to admit how tired you are, because Gemini is often expected to be interesting, strong, clever, light, flexible, and available. But God does not require you to perform peace while bleeding quietly. He wants to give you real peace, the kind that protects your future and prepares your hands for blessing. So when the tears come, do not rush to stop them. Do not immediately text the person who hurt you. Do not make a financial decision just because fear whispers that time is running out. Do not return to a closed door simply because loneliness makes the old familiar look safe. These days require stillness, not panic. Prayer, not impulse. Discernment, not reaction. Because what God reveals during emotional moments must be handled with wisdom. The enemy of your future is not always a person. Sometimes it is haste. Sometimes it is confusion. Sometimes it is the old habit of choosing temporary comfort over divine alignment. Gemini, this is also connected to your money, your success, and your future wealth. Not in a superstitious way, but in a spiritual way. A disturbed heart makes distracted choices. A tired soul accepts less than it deserves. A confused mind spends energy, time, and money trying to fill an inner emptiness. But when God heals the heart, He also restores judgment. He restores focus. He restores the courage to say no, the patience to wait, and the wisdom to recognize which opportunity carries peace and which opportunity only carries pressure. This is how blessing becomes sustainable. God does not only want to give you provision, He wants to make you whole enough to keep it. That is why this window may feel mysterious. You may sense that something is leaving before it is gone. You may feel detached from people you once chased. You may lose interest in conversations that used to excite you. You may notice your spirit rejecting drama, noise, mixed signals, and emotional games. This is not emptiness. This is purification. God is separating your nervous system from chaos. He is teaching your heart that peace is not boring. Peace is wealth. Peace is protection. Peace is the ground where divine favor can grow without being choked by fear. And if this truth is reaching you, Gemini, do not watch passively. Let this be a sign of agreement with your healing. Comment: God is healing my heart and preparing my blessing. Write it not as magic, but as faith. Write it as a declaration that you will not let old pain control new doors. Like this video if you are choosing wisdom over reaction. Subscribe if your spirit knows God still guides through quiet signs. Share it with a Gemini who says, I am fine while carrying too much. Because things you call breaking are in God's eyes the gentle removal of what has quietly stolen your peace, wisdom, and wealthy future. Gemini, the central truth. You need to hear, is this what shakes you, is not coming to destroy you. It is coming to awaken the part of you that has been sleeping under pressure. Disappointment, overthinking, and emotional survival. You may have believed that if you could understand everything, you could protect yourself from pain. You may have believed that if you stayed busy enough, talked enough, laughed enough, planned enough, or kept moving fast enough, the wound would never catch up with you. But God does not heal what we keep hiding behind motion. He brings the hidden thing into His light, not to expose you to shame, but to restore you with mercy. This is why April 27th through April 29th may feel so intense. It is not because your future is cursed, because an old version of you may finally be losing power. The version that tried to understand everyone but rarely felt understood. The version that said, I am okay while carrying emotional weight in silence. The version that explained someone's behavior because truth felt too painful. The version that kept giving people access to your mind, time, prayers, money, and energy, even when your spirit already knew something was no longer aligned. That version is not your destiny. That version was a survival garment, and God may now be asking you to take it off. Gemini, you are not crying because you are weak. You may cry because your soul is finally telling the truth your mouth avoided. You may cry because the person you became in pain is not the person God created you to remain. You may cry because your spirit is tired of negotiating with confusion. And listen carefully. The tears do not mean you are losing your blessing. Sometimes tears are the water that softens the ground before a new harvest appears. Sometimes a heart must break open, not break apart, so He can plant wisdom, discipline, courage, peace, and prosperous vision in a place once filled with fear. God does not only want to bless your outer life, He wants to bless your inner capacity. He does not only want you to receive money, opportunity, influence, recognition, or advancement. He wants you to become whole enough to carry those things without losing yourself. Because if your mind is anxious, you may choose too quickly. If your heart is attached to the past, you may walk back into doors. he already closed. If wrong voices still control your emotions, you may trade divine favor for temporary approval. And if your soul is exhausted, even wealth can feel heavy. So before God raises you, he may first quiet you. Before he increases you, he may first heal you. Before he opens the next door, he may ask you to release the hand holding the old one. This is the deeper message of this season. Gemini true wealth begins with alignment. It begins when your peace is no longer for sale. It begins when your yes becomes sacred, your no becomes clean, and your spirit stops explaining what God already revealed. It begins when you stop chasing people who drain your clarity. Stop entertaining opportunities that cost your peace. Stop responding from panic, and stop letting loneliness choose your future. Wealth is not only numbers in an account. Wealth is discernment. Wealth is protected energy. Wealth is a calm mind. Wealth is the ability to recognize the right door before desperation pushes you through the wrong one. Wealth is having God's peace while your life begins to rise. And maybe that is why what is coming feels emotional. God may be showing you a relationship that no longer carries peace. He may be showing you a pattern that keeps delaying your prosperity. He may be showing you a dream that needs to be renewed instead of abandoned. He may show you that you confused patience with self-neglect, loyalty with fear, forgiveness with access, and love with exhaustion. This is not condemnation. This is correction wrapped in grace. God is not saying you failed. He may be saying, "My child, you have carried this long enough. Let me teach you how to live lighter, wiser, richer, and freer." So, when April 27th, 28th, and 29th, stir your heart, do not only ask, "Why am I crying?" Ask, "What truth is being revealed?" Ask, "What old agreement is ending?" Ask, "What blessing requires me to become more honest with myself?" Because the future God is preparing for you cannot be built on denial. It cannot be protected by people-pleasing. It cannot be multiplied through fear. It must be received by a Gemini who has learned to pause, pray, discern, and move only when peace agrees. If this is speaking to you, do not let the moment pass like ordinary content. Comment: God is healing my heart and preparing my blessing. Let it be your declaration that old fear does not own your next chapter. Like this video if you are ready to choose peace over panic. Subscribe if you believe God can guide you through small signs. Share this with another Gemini who is smiling while breaking. Because what is shaking your soul is not proof that God has left you. It may be the sign that God is entering the locked room of your heart and whispering, "It is time to be healed." Gemini, now that your heart has heard the truth, do not rush away from this moment. Stay here. Breathe slowly. Let your shoulders soften. Let the noise of the outside world fade for a few seconds. Because this is where your tears become prayer and your trembling becomes surrender. What is moving through you from April 27th to April 29th is not meant to leave you afraid. It is meant to bring you back to God, back to wisdom, back to the quiet place inside your spirit, where blessing can be received without panic, without confusion, without begging for what was never sent to bless you. Place one hand over your heart, Gemini, and imagine that the part of you that has been tired, divided, overthinking, and silently hurting is finally being held by divine mercy. You do not have to explain everything right now. You do not have to solve your whole future tonight. You do not have to chase the person, answer the message, force the door, prove your worth, or make a desperate decision just to feel safe. Sometimes the most powerful spiritual act is to stop, breathe, and say, God, I trust you more than I trust my fear. Let this be your sacred declaration. Lord, if there is something inside me that needs healing, touch it with your peace. If there is something I must release, give me courage to release it without bitterness. If there is a door of prosperity, protection, wealth, wisdom, and blessing prepared for me, prepare my heart to enter it without carrying the old pain into the new promise. Remove the confusion that has been draining my focus. Remove the voices that make me doubt my value. Remove the fear that makes me run back to what you already closed. Teach me to recognize what carries your peace and what only carries pressure. Gemini. If you can feel those words moving through your chest, this is your sign to participate in your own healing, not through superstition, not through fear, not through a magic formula, but through faith, through agreement, through a conscious decision that your tears will not become chains, they will become cleansing. Your sadness will not become identity, it will become testimony. Your confusion will not become your future, it will become the doorway where God began to restore your clarity. So write this in the comments with intention: God is healing my heart and preparing my blessing. Do not write it casually. Write it like a spiritual marker. Write it like you are placing a boundary between the old season and the new one. Write it like you are telling heaven, your own heart, and your future, that you will no longer agree with fear, emotional chaos, poverty thinking, or the lie that your best days are behind you. Every comment becomes a public act of faith, a visible sign that you are ready to be led into peace provision and divine increase. And when you like this video, let it mean something. Let it mean you are choosing faith over panic. Let it mean you are choosing God's timing over rushed decisions. Let it mean you are choosing a wealthy spirit before chasing a wealthy life. Because when the soul is healed, the hands become wiser. With money, the mind becomes clearer with opportunity, and the heart becomes stronger in blessing. Subscribe. If your spirit knows that God still speaks through quiet signs, repeated feelings, sacred timing, and words that arrive exactly when the soul is ready to hear them, share this with another Gemini who has been smiling while carrying too much. Share it with someone who says, I am fine, but whose eyes look tired. Share it with the Gemini who needs to know that crying does not mean the blessing is leaving. Sometimes crying means God is removing what would have ruined the blessing after it arrived. Do not keep this message only for yourself if someone you love is standing at the edge of the same emotional doorway. And Gemini, as you move through April 27th, 28th, and 29th, walk gently. Pray before you respond. Pause before you choose. Protect your peace like it is part of your inheritance, because it is. What God is preparing for you requires a healed heart, a clear mind, and a spirit that refuses to return to spiritual exhaustion. Your tears are not the ending. Your trembling is not defeat. This may be the holy moment when God washes the old pain from your hands so they become empty enough, clean enough, and strong enough to receive the blessing that has been waiting for you. Keep watching, because the next breath you take may become the first breath of your restored, prosperous, God-led season today.